last week on the Nicoletti Show. Without further ado, let's welcome John to the show. John?
We love our probate deals because we get to work with Al, you know what I mean?
How can somebody get started in land?
The barrier to entry to get into land is pretty low. It's really not hard, brother. As long as you're consistent and you're staying in contact and you have a follow-up process and you're trying to be at service, you can win in any business.
Sales and negotiation techniques. How important is it for people to learn those skills?
It's absolutely important in any business. You have to get comfortable speaking with people and just understanding their situation and seeing if you can be at service. You can't create motivation, or if they just want to sell, you can't force them.
It's something you just have to learn over time, but you have to work at it and refine those tools.
Every market in Florida that you're in, there's always an obstacle to overcome, right? And you don't know until you're in the market.
You touched on a little gold right there.
The thing that I kind of came to the conclusion was there's less attachment to land, right? Than houses. People have more of an emotional attachment.
What are you finding that are some of the secret sauce marketing strategies out there?
The bread and butter to my business is SMS, and most of the more quality deals that I do come from direct mail, right? I had a VA cold calling for me for 9 months. Guess how many deals we closed?
How many?
0. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but what I did was, okay, enough of that. Texting is working. You come over here on this side. We're going to double down on this. You got to keep God first. You got to live a life at service, and you got to be selfless. Don't be selfish. Understand that what's for you is for you. Be consistent in any of your endeavors, and you will be successful if it's meant for you. And don't focus on what other people are doing.
Thank you for being awesome and coming on, spending the time, and just dropping these nuggets, brother.
Appreciate you, my brother. We'll talk soon, man.
Woo! What an episode that was with Jonathan Duong. It was such a popular episode that I got so many comments and DMs and messages on John's episode, wanting the link, where to find it, how to get started. It was just a hot topic, and land is super hot right now. If you missed any of John's episode, go back, check that out on the YouTube channel, on Facebook. There's plenty of ways you can find us. And of course, you scan the QR code on the left side, you'll find the link tree where you can find all of the content on the Nicoletti Show, and of course, all the crazy stuff on probate, quiet title, and all the weird, messy things in the title world when it comes to this kind of stuff. So check that out. And of course, if you are enjoying these episodes, feel free to share the episodes. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, share the link. It's all about giving value back to the community, and you never know who can get that value and who's going with the same or similar situation as the people that are on the show talking about this stuff. You never know. Feel free to share. And tonight, we have another amazing guest, a real banger tonight. I love Adam Whitney and what this guy is doing, what he's doing in the community, what he's doing for the kids. This guy is all around a class act, and I was so happy that we got to connect at Family Mastermind. Literally, he's walking out of the room. I'm walking into the room, and I was like, we got to chat. Awesome guy. There's so much to love. And you guys are going to enjoy this episode because there is a lot to talk about in the market and of course, where the market's at, fixing, flipping, all of that. So we're going to talk about that. And I got my pen, paper, my laptops ready to go. I'm ready on this Wednesday night live. So let's rock this thing. Hey, everybody. My name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their communities that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate. And of course, we are always going to provide the best in the game, no matter what market they're in, the people that are achieving the next level things, whether they're in the fix and flip business, the land business, the Airbnb business, getting into commercial, wholesaling, anything in this business that can really take our businesses to the next level. We're going to provide those guests on how you can take your company to the next level. On my show today, I have a class act in Adam Whitney, and I am so pumped that he gets to be on here. Military guy. He knows his stuff. He's been in this game. This is what it's all about. Bringing on the guests that can bring the heat and provide the value to you. So without further ado, let's welcome Adam to the show. Adam, we did it, brother.
Dude, this is incredible. The Nicoletti Show. Oh my gosh, this is so next level. I love it, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's been a work in progress, and we're here. And like I said in the pre-show part, I got to tell you, Adam, I was so happy that I got to meet you at Family Mastermind. I saw you and Bill Allen were there, and I was like, wait a second. They're in the group. I gotta seek them out. And when I met you, I was like, oh, we gotta chat. We chatted, clicked, and from there, look at this. It's just rolling, brother.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good karma. It's good karma, good people, good karma, man. I'm so grateful to be here, bring value to your folks today, and hopefully we can chop it up on some cool things.
Let's do it, man. Let's dive in. So, Adam, for those that don't know a little bit about your background, feel free to share that for people. Like, how did it begin for you? What you're doing now, and some of the things to come.
Yeah, I'm actually still an active duty Marine. I'm going to be retired here in a couple of weeks, actually. So I'm really pumped about that. I kind of started as a buy and hold investor, and then expanded to direct to seller. Had a merger and acquisition with Bill Allen, who's my partner in multiple businesses. We have a flipping and wholesaling company. We primarily wholesale now. That we've done 7 and multi 7 figures since like 2016. So we've done a lot of deals, over 1,000 deals. And I continue to buy rentals up in the Midwest. I buy wholesale and flip down in Florida. I've bought a couple apartment buildings in North Carolina last year, and I have a title company in Florida. And I'm also one of the owners of 7 Figure Flipping with Bill, where I'm a partner as well.
Very cool, man. And first, I got to say, Adam, thank you for your service. Really appreciate it. Means a lot to us in this country. Thank you. And I mean, that's huge too. That you've partnered with Bill. You guys are crushing it together. 7 Figure Flipping. Everybody knows that name, and that's branding right there. You think about the live events that you guys were putting on, and what that's doing. Adam, let's talk about this in some of the market updates. Where are you seeing the market right now as a big picture?
You know what? Every year, this is funny. I'm a kind of a macroeconomic nerd. I like to follow the market. Every year, there's like all these headlines. In 2016, there was a reason the market was not going to be good. 2017, there was a reason the market wasn't going to be good. 2020, there was a reason the market wasn't going to be good. 24, there's a reason the deals are still there. It's like, I don't even want to say that there's problems with the market, because there are every year, but that's not a reason. Those circumstances are kind of irrelevant to us as investors, because the unique thing about us is we control the purchase price. We are buying houses at discounts. So honestly, I mean, last year we got a house for $1. I literally got a house for a single dollar in the state of Florida last year. It's hard to lose doing that, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose doing that. But yeah, I think we're extremely interest rate sensitive. There's more inventory on the market than there has been. But good properties in good areas are moving.
Yeah, it seems like it was a little slow in the beginning of the year. Picked up, got a little slow in March, and then all of a sudden, like middle of April until now, it's just been like nonstop. The distress market's like on fire. I mean, that's not stopping. But let's talk about this, Adam. So, first area, you have a title company, own a title company, and you're growing that with your team. What are you guys seeing on the title end of things right now that's been hot bubbling in that market?
Yeah, we're seeing investors. Well, first off, there's a couple things with title. Like, we love our real estate agents. We have some phenomenal agents we work with, and we could do that all day long. But we also like the investors because they're more consistent. They're not as sensitive to the market. So on the investor side, what we see is a lot of these investors are using multiple exit strategies. We're doing a lot of novations. We've got guys doing like installment sales, and everybody's still doing the traditional wholesale assignment deals. You have your flippers selling traditionally. And then on the agent side, we see a lot of the transactions, and it's pretty common to see everything come with a concession, right? Buyers are asking for concessions today, not uncommon. I mean, we're seeing things go at purchase price or at asking price, but they're
Mhm.
asking for their 3 to 6% concession. So that's
Mhm.
just the current state of the market. Multiple exit strategies and concessions because there's more inventory available, and it's just business 101, supply and demand.
Yeah, so let's break that down a bit. Multiple exit strategies. What have been a few that you've seen? Like, I guess having the novations in your back pocket as a strategy for the wholesaling part, but the exit strategy, whether it's taking it down, flipping it out. What are some of the ones that have been like really hot lately?
Yeah, I'll tell you some of the best investors, particularly the ones doing direct to seller marketing and maybe they wholesale a lot, they have the ability to purchase the property and do a little bit of work. So I'll give you an example. The sellers, they're not going to sell at a cash offer kind of wholesale type price, 40 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, but they'll sell it to you for a really good price. And the really skilled investors can do a novation or purchase the property, and they have the ability to do the things in Florida that are important to make them lendable properties, like a roof, the HVAC, kind of the big ticket items that appropriate windows, hurricane
Mhm.
proof, things like that. So the skilled investors will use the cash hammer as their first option, and if it doesn't work, they don't just lose that lead that they spent money on. I'm seeing them bring in either a novation or they'll purchase it, do a little bit of work to it, get it lender ready, and get that thing on the market and sell it that way. But they're still creating margin on all their leads. So it's really efficient.
Yeah, and you know what's impressive too with what you've been able to see on the market side is you've been able to grow this title company as a business. Like you're growing the team. Like you're not just doing one deal, two deals. You're doing a lot of deals. Um, as a business owner, this is one thing you kind of alluded to on the onboarding, which is just going through growing pains as somebody that's run multiple businesses, how are you really dialing in with the team to help the team grow, train, get through those growing pains as a title company business?
Yeah, that's such a good question. There's a couple interesting things, right? Title in general is a fairly archaic process. You have counties and cities that keep records physically, they're not digitized across the nation. So there's a lot of like manual stuff going on in the background. Because of that, it's still very much a human endeavor. It still requires people, and the people have to process the files, and people have a capacity. So when you look at the title company, as you bring business in, you have to expand your people. And for us, that's what we've really been focused on, is the balance between expanding our people and keeping phenomenal customer service. And we make mistakes, of course, just like any business, but we really try to white glove our clients. We have really great relationships and growing the company. So I want to keep my customer service high. I want to get more files, and I don't want to hire a bunch of people. If you know anybody in the title industry, you'll know that when it gets busy, they balloon up in people and overhead. And then in the slow season, they literally just lay everybody off. So we're trying to fine tune. We would rather have a core team that gets subsidized, where we're not firing and hiring people three seasons a year. We're trying to be efficient and effective. And honestly, we're not just taking anybody and everybody from a client perspective. We're working with phenomenal people. A shout out Dan McDuffie, who I seen comment on here. He's worked with us. He's awesome. But we do kind of choose our clients.
Yeah, Dan is awesome. Dan McDuffie is crushing it in the space with probates
I
and you
love
name
them.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. You know, you touched on something, Adam, which is so true. Like when you first get into these businesses, you think that the more you grow, the more people you got to throw at the problem. But when you do that, it becomes even a bigger problem. right? And so when I was starting the law firm, it was just me. Then I got an assistant. Then all of a sudden, like all the cases were coming in and we were having to hire this one and we wanted to get this one really fast. And we realized, well, wait a second. If we keep doing this, what's that going to look like? And that's when it got to a point of I really like staying lean. I like staying with this core and utilizing what we have and trying to make it work with everybody that we have rather than throwing more people in the pot. And so kudos to you with what you're doing and trying to work that out.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out El Nicoletti team over there crushing probates, because you guys are building good systems and processes internally. Like, I just know you, and in our conversations, we're trying to do the same thing. Let's not just go throw people at the problem and have these fragmented systems. Let's get the right people in the team. Let's have really smooth systems and continue to refine and make ourselves efficient. Now, listen, it's easier said than done. Briefs really smoothly on this podcast, but it's a work in progress every single day.
Every single day. I totally agree with that. Like there's so many days that go by that you're like, wow, we're making progress, but all the work that had to go into getting there, it just takes time. And that's another theme that people have gone through on the show. Everything takes time. But I love how you've talked about it. You've been open about it, which is really big for people because people have businesses and are trying to grow. Adam, another thing that we had talked about was what's hot when it comes to some of the marketing that you've seen on the investment side, right? Like the marketing has been big because people are doing cold calls, mailers, and you name it. What have you seen that's working on the investment side of things when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, this is such a good question, and it's probably an age-old question that has been it just is constantly talked about. And you have this dichotomy between like hot and new and brilliance in the basics, right? And when I say dichotomy, it's like two opposing things. Like you must go after this new sexy strategy, and the information marketers are pushing it really hard. But then you look at some of the businesses that have been around for 2 decades doing direct to seller, and our business, we've been a primarily direct mail company, and it works. We've been a cold call company, and it works. We do Google Ads PPC, and it works. We buy PPL, paper leads from different providers, and it works. And the true foundational thing for people is, especially the new folks breaking in, they don't know what it's supposed to look like. They don't know what it's supposed to feel like. Some of them are getting their first deal and haven't been through the full cycle of that all the way through the closed cash to bank. Maybe they've only done a handful. And the foundational most important thing is consistency. It literally there are people will tell you SMS is dead. We don't do text messaging, but then I'll talk to 5 people who got a deal last week from texting. It's like, I thought texting was dead. They're like, wow, no, we're still doing it. We get deals. So it all works. I think it's really important that you pick something and you remain consistent in it over periods of time. You measure your result. You get into rooms and communities where people are ahead of you and they're consistently marketing so they can give you feedback on your results. And that's really the bottom line. It's honestly brilliance in the basics. And here's the other part about marketing, Al, that people don't talk about. I could give you 100 grand today and you could go do marketing, and I guarantee you we would do 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 deals that month together, if you knew how to convert those leads into deals, though. Right? If you knew how to follow up with those people consistently. And it's not magic. It's not magic. It's literally just continually talking to humans about what they have going on and how you can help them with their problems. You don't even have to have some suave script or sales. Like, you can literally just talk to people. Hey, I'm trying to buy this house or move this house to some flippers that I know. I'm on the hunt for them to find them something to buy. Be completely honest. You don't have to use sleight of hand conversations. It's so simple, man. It is really truly So simple. And I'll pause, but I'll tell you a story about what Bill and I did a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, go for it. What was that?
Oh, okay. So we did this. Bill calls me on a Wednesday. He goes, "Hey, Monday we're gonna do a challenge." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. What is it?" He's like, we're gonna get on. We're gonna help some folks see what it really looks like. So we get on a Monday. We pull the most basic foreclosure list. We get like 73 records. We showed them how to do that. Not that complicated, right? And then they're doing it along with us. And then Tuesday, I personally start cold calling these leads, and I'm having conversations, and people are asking me like, and we picked a market that we're not in. So this is like Dayton, Ohio. And I'm calling Dayton, Ohio, and this guy picks up and he's like, "Are you in Dayton?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm a Marine. I'm over in Virginia." And he's like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You buy houses?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I haven't bought anything in Dayton. I'm trying to get my first one right now. That's why I'm calling you." Like I'm just honest with this guy. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, cool. I got some houses I want to sell." It didn't work out for that one, but we got a couple others that were really good.
Dang, just that easy, right? Like, it's just amazing what happens when you just talk from the heart and you're authentic about who you are and what you're trying to get into. And you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to read any kind of script. And people see that, right? Like people are able to see that and they're able to relate to that. And they love that. That's what they love about doing business with people like that. Adam, so let me ask you this question. You talked about it before, which is the importance of building relationships in the community, being a part of different groups, being surrounded by the real estate experts. How important is that been for you to see, for others to be a part of these other communities and be surrounded by all these experts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is it's interesting, right? Because I sometimes I hear resistance to a lot of these paid groups and stuff, but then I look around at my friends who made it to the pros. Maybe they were an NFL player or I know some MLB guys and gals. They all paid for coaching and mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. I'm willing to do that too. I go look at folks in the financial industry, at like a private equity level, and they're paying 25, 50 grand a year to be in a private club with a monthly fee on top of that pay to play type thing. And it's just like you need to get in the right rooms. It's hard. It's not tactile until you can see it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing a million and I aspire to do $100 million company, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not in that room. I need to be. If I want to be $100 million company, I probably need to see something or get some type of mentorship or coaching. We've been being coached our whole lives, Al. Your parents coached you, your teachers coached you, your sports coaches coached you,
Mm-hmm.
your college professors have coached you, your counselors have coached you. Like you've always been coached. You are getting coached by certain people for specific reasons. And if you want to do real estate or start a program or become an attorney or whatever, you're going to go pay to play. Like you didn't become an attorney by just saying, "I want to be an attorney," and watching YouTube, did you?
No.
No, you spent a ton of money and you went and got mentored in a professional education setting. And then you got the certificate, and now you've passed the rite of passage there. You got the ESQ and all that.
Exactly. And it took time and it took a lot of work. But like you said, we were trained and coached and had to go through that grueling process to get where I am, to get where you are. I mean, we've all been through that. And it's no different than being in the industry we are in now. You still have to continually get that education. And like you're saying, I really believe, and I'm going to be talking about more of this later on in the season too, which is being able to be in those right rooms means that you're aligning yourself with the right people. I believe more than ever, people need to align themselves with people that are on that same or higher professional level, personal level, not go below it, because you constantly want to better yourself. And when you're surrounded by the people that are doing better, you immediately are doing better by being in that room, right?
Raise your game. You absolutely raise your game. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and that applies to personally and professionally, both. Like both. People think it's got to be professional only. No, personal too, because that translates into the professional side.
We're communal. We're communal by nature, right? Like we're survivalist. Our primal instincts. If you think about if you go start hanging out with a bunch of people doing, smoking crack, you're probably going to become a crackhead eventually if that's the room that you're in. If you're hanging out with if you're going to hanging out with 5 guys who are great fathers and they're doing a bunch of stuff with kids, you probably are going to be a good father. Like it's just how we are, right? It's just how we are. Peer pressure as a kid. You remember it's your parents were like, don't hang out with that crew of people. They're bad news. Why did they say that? Because you really are going to be a reflection of those folks you're putting yourself around.
Right. Right. We look back on that. They're like, oh yeah, they were right about that.
Yeah.
Like
Johnny's in jail now. And this person's got 12 kids and he's 25.
And he's not getting out. So Adam, let's talk about this. You're really getting into a lot of fix and flips. Fix and flips has been a thing that, I mean, if you're not doing wholesaling, you're pivoting into a different area. What do people need to know about the fix and flip market? Like, what are you seeing there? Whether people are doing things right or wrong, what do you see?
Yeah, and I see a lot of flippers too in 7-figure flipping. And man, I'm thinking, really, it is, you have to put a good product on the market in a good area. I think maybe I told you this story, Al, but we bought a house in Tampa that didn't have electricity. It was on blocks. It was literally on center blocks. We never got the electricity turned on. I bought it for $84,000 to include the liens I paid for. I literally turned around this next day. It was on the MLS for like 129. I had 10 cash offers. I sold it for 135,000, made 40 grand. That would not happen today.
Mm-hmm.
That would not happen today. And the reason is there's more supply, right? Supply and demand. So your buyers have options. So you want to be an attractive option. The flippers who have their systems dialed in, the flippers that have a good product that every time they put their product out or they post their before and afters, you're like, gosh, that house looks good. Those are the flippers selling their deals. And it's not even just us. And I can tell you, by the way, I have a flip on the market right now that is not sold, and it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars loss. And I can tell you why. I didn't do the right product. I didn't believe the data in the area. There wasn't enough data. It wasn't the exact right neighborhood subdivision. And I'm going to eat a loss on that one. And the flippers I see putting beautiful products up, man, their stuff's still moving very fast.
Mm-hmm. So on that deal, I think you told me about this one. On the deal that you guys are going to lose money on, if you had to go back to the beginning and on picking up that deal, what would you have done differently?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have bought it, Al. And here's why. It's in I'm in the Panhandle. Panhandle and Central Florida is our 2 primary markets. We've been in the Panhandle for a very long time. And we get these stray leads from across the border in Alabama, think Orange Beach, Fairhope, that kind of area. And it was like a Fairhope deal, but it was kind of away from Fairhope, over by a canal, water. But there were no comps that were like in that particular 3 canal area, like nothing. There was nothing. But if you come out, the comps, nothing selling for under 500. Nothing selling for under 500. And I had originally underwrote the after repair value on that house for $415,000, and I ended up buying it for $295,000. I thought I was going to put about $45,000 into it. I had to replace a surprise septic tank, cost me another, 30, 40 grand by the time I did a couple things, including the septic tank. And we listed at 460, and we came down below 400 on this house, well below 400. And we're just going to dump it. And here's the other thing. I got to say this, though, because that might scare people. The worst thing you can do if you have a bad flip is not go replace that bad inventory with good inventory. Okay. Because on the back end of this, I have a wholesale deal closing at almost multi six figures, right? Like I'm almost going to make 200
Mhm.
grand on this thing, over 150, less than 200.
Yeah.
If it closes, you know how it goes. Money's got to hit the bank, but
Yeah.
you have to replace bad inventory with good inventory. That's how you don't just eat that and cry in the corner. You have to do something.
Yeah. And I know this is something you said too. The ones that are crushing it right now with doing fix and flips are the ones that are really putting the work into it, that are not doing the lipstick on pig
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
By and large, the lipstick on the pig strategy has been not as effective. I'm not saying it doesn't work, because everything works, man. Location matters. Like, you get something in a great neighborhood at a great price, you can still make money.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of traditionally flipping and you're going to buy that house to flip it and put some time and money in it and capital at risk, if the numbers make sense, you should be putting a good product forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Adam, I missed this one on the wholesale side of it. You got to tell people the story of the Peyton Manning wholesale deal that was really crazy.
Oh man.
I remember seeing it on Instagram, and I was like,
Yeah, Steven
"What?"
Morales posted the conversation of him and this lady, and I actually had it under contract. He didn't know that. I did tell him later though. We get a lead that comes in, and this lady answers the phone. She's like, "Do you know who I am?" We're like, "I mean, it says you're Jamie. You know this. You know you're this lady." And she's like, I'm Dr. So and so, and I like sued Peyton Manning, and I know all these athletes. So she's like this infamous lady who's very litigious, fine lady. She's got a lot going on in her life. Definitely needs our help. We go over there. It's a bit of a mess. Dead cat in the freezer. She's just out of jail, and we got to help this lady. So it's it's this like the most fascinating thing. She wrote a book. She's like, "You need to read my book. You need to read my book." She's like calling us a bunch. We're trying to help her, but she's like hard to deal with. We're gonna get this house, beautiful house, by the way, Central Florida. We got it at a pretty good price. We're gonna make good money on this house, and she tries to go to another investor. Open doors title companies like, "Hey, you guys have an NOI. We know the title agent there that they're working with." They're like, "Yeah, this isn't going to close. This lady's hard to work with, to say it lightly. And we don't think it's closing." We're like, "Yes, because we're not signing the NOI until you guys pay us." So she eventually comes back to us, and we close it about 2 weeks ago. I just heard today she's actually back in the slammer. So
Oh, nice.
but we're still helping her, man. Here's the thing. This is a crazy story, and I don't say that to make light of her, because she has a lot going on, man. And she's lived a really fascinating life,
Yeah.
been in all over TMZ, all over ESPN, and all these crazy things that would make somebody infamous. And at the end of the day, she's just a person that needed help. And this is like exactly what I try to explain to people. I'm like, why would somebody sell their house to you at that price? It's like, man, you don't understand. These people call us, they genuinely need our help. And we do unique things. We go way above and beyond to help them find a house in another state and get them the
Mhm.
right agents to do escrow holdbacks and allow them to stay in the house, to help them move their animals, to help them move the stuff in their house. We send people to their house to take things off. Like, we will go to whatever is necessary to actually serve somebody, because that's what they need. And that's what we did with her. So I don't want to make light of her situation's just absolutely insane, and it's easy to make light at that, but man, she had a lot going on, and I'm grateful that our team was like all over this thing in spite of how challenging it was and the crazy story. We were kind of scared too, Al. Like, she's obviously proven to be litigious, and I was like, well, I don't know, man. I don't want anything coming back on us for any
Mhm.
reason. But we were like, whatever, we're doing the right thing here. Let's help this lady out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, some people go through some crazy stuff, and I'm sure you've seen just your share of just crazy deals that just keep coming through, and it's always the distressed ones, the messy ones that are the ones that make the most money. They take a lot of time, but they're well worth it because they have a great story at the end, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
always something. There's a learning lesson with it all. I know.
So many
I
good
see it on the
stories.
probate side. Oh, there's always a story. Always.
Oh yeah.
Adam, really cool stuff. Really good to know what's going on, especially how you're kind of seeing it on both ends of the spectrum on title, real estate, fix and flips. I mean, it's really good stuff to know. I think the coolest thing about our conversation in Tampa and onboarding is what you are doing for the kids in the community. And what you and Bill Allen have been putting together with the teenage tycoons and helping the kids and growing their understanding and knowledge of how to learn in this world. Talk to us. What is Teenage Tycoons? What is going on with this? How are you guys working this out?
Yeah. So, my partner, Bill Allen, who's the leader of Seven Figure Flipping, the guy, if you don't know who he is, or you haven't looked at any of his stuff, he is brilliant. He's brilliant business owner, entrepreneur. He's brilliant with money. He is personally brilliant with money. He's not just making a bunch of money, but he's making a bunch of money. He's investing in apartments, and he just does everything. He's such a smart, intelligent individual. And obviously we get a lot of this in our community in Seven Figure Flipping, where, of course you're learning how to flip, wholesale, do marketing, do sales, but you're also learning how to build wealth because you have those kind of people there like Bill. And we had been talking for years kind of in the community. We bring our whole families to these events, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
These are all very family friendly things. And my kids go in there, and my son's 11 years old, and Bill's like, man, we really have to help the kid. We need to do something for the kids. So he starts this group. It's super affordable. It's not like something crazy called Teenage Tycoons. And every summer, like, he puts on Flip Hacking Live every year. You've been there or something.
Yeah.
And now every summer, this summer, he's doing, so he has a closed group, and he's brought people in who literally have $100 million businesses. Like Russell Brunson's talked to our kids, Walter Bond's talked to our kids. People who are like e-commerce experts came and talked to our kids. Like, we're getting really people who are resellers making a ton of money reselling. I'm talking about like garage sale resellers. They have crazy business models. So our kids are learning like all these different ways that you can generate money.
Mm-hmm.
And they start in this group, and like my son started with $0, and then he flipped a few like items around the house that nobody was using. He asked if he could, hey, is anybody using this? What are you going to do with it? My wife's like, I'm going to throw it out. He's like, can I have it? She's like, yes, but only if you get rid of it, because I'm going to throw it out. And so he ends up selling a couple like little nuanced things, makes $100. Then he takes that $100, asks me for $100 loan, has $200, buys a treadmill for $200 and resells it for $400.
What?
That's he's crazy. 11 years old. So he's learning how to get money, help his money make money. And this is not just from me. He learns plenty of this from me. But these kids don't have this kind of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, or any of that in their school system.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in this group now, and they're doing that. In June 19th and 20th, there's an open public event like Flip Hacking Live, but for kids, called the Teen Wealth Workshop. It's in Franklin, Tennessee. We're going to be out there. I'm taking my son out there on the 19th and 20th. And I'm really excited because there's these, and it's not about just be a crazy entrepreneur like us. It's about understanding the game that's being played. So there'll be an attorney there who's going to take them through an interactive life path of an attorney. And then there'll be people going down an interactive life path of a doctor, and there'll be a doctor there guiding them, right? And there'll be other people, there'll be entrepreneurs, there'll be business owners, there'll be investors that are taking them down. And these kids are going to see what these life paths would open up to them, where they cap out at, kind of what kind of work goes into it, how much money has to get invested into these different things. They're going to see all of this and what their real options are. And it's going to be a really interactive, tactile event for them. I'm so pumped, man. My 11-year-old is like, where his mind is today. If I would have known, I was in my 30s when I started really truly understanding the concepts that he just inherently knows now, because he's in that room at 11 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 11 years old. I don't even remember what I was doing then. But I wasn't flipping a treadmill for $200 to $400. I mean, like that. I wasn't doing that.
Well,
Um,
I'll tell you something. Because my kids know how to make their money make money, to pay them $5 to do their, we had to pivot off of like paying them to do chores. Like they're like, literally, why would I do that? I make $25 a month passively because I put my money in this thing and I
mhm.
get paid every month. Both my kids, my daughter's 6, her too. And they understand that concept right now inherently. I can't pay them 5, $10 to do chores because it's illogical in their mind. Why would
Yeah.
I trade my time for that little bit of money when I traded my money and made more money and I don't do anything for it anymore?
Right. Right.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. Adam, are they going to learn more about like the investment vehicles? So like one common theme that keeps coming up for a lot of people as they've gotten older is they wish they would have learned like how to save more money and
Yeah.
understand compounding interest
Yep.
and using your brokerage IRA, 401k and all these things early on because compounding interest is an amazing wonder of the world. Are they
It
going to learn
is.
all about that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So part of like there's obviously layers to this. They have a whole course set up inside here that they're all kind of tracking along on. And it's from, currency. What does currency mean to what is compound interest to what is simple interest? They're learning all the academic type things about money, how it works, investing, saving, how much did you save, how much did you spend, all those different types of typical financial literacy things, and then layering on the entrepreneurship type stuff and the investing type stuff. The different every investment vehicle is being explained to them in a way that they would understand. So whether it's alternative investments like real estate or it's
Mhm.
401ks, we even had a day trader, a really successful day trader, come on and talk to our kids after they did that module in the financial literacy course. Like, what does
Mhm.
stocks mean? What's 401k? What's an IRA? Like, and you think that that's advanced, and it would be because a lot of us learned it way too late in the game, probably. But it's explained in a way that they understand it. It's broken down in a simple way, and these kids are smart, man.
Mhm.
They are extremely smart. If you come on one of these calls that they're on and you hear the questions they're asking, you'd be like, I'm blown away. Like, I can't even imagine where I would be if I had somebody pulling me through that thing or mentoring me through that. And most of the kids in the group are, we've got some really sharp, like 8 and 9 year olds, but
Mhm.
mostly everybody's like 11 to 18.
Mhm.
Right. And
Okay.
there's a 14-year old that's on his fifth house flip.
That's crazy.
We've got actually a couple kids who have already flipped multiple houses.
Wow.
No,
Gone
they're
through the whole thing? The whole
The whole
transaction?
thing made tens of thousands of dollars, like seriously successful flips. And their parents are obviously putting them in this kind of a group because they're entrepreneurs and some of them are flippers. So they're doing a lot of it their own, whether it's negotiating with contractors. It's
Mhm.
crazy, man. It's crazy. In your mind, or at least in my mind, I'm like, there's no way kids are going to like really want to do it or grasp it. But some of these kids are incredible. So
Yeah,
just
and
having my son around that is phenomenal.
oh, I can't even imagine just being surrounded by that, just learning that at that now is gonna help tremendously later. What about, I was thinking about a whole bunch of things that we should have been doing as kids, but this generation's definitely thrown, laptops and iPads and iPhones in our hands. What about being more, like, handy with things and learning a lot of the things, like staying away from the electronics and getting that understanding of doing things around the house and being just handy with items?
Yeah, I mean, I think like conceptually, like all those things are a part of this, right? Like how to be a good human. Like what you're talking about is like we want our kids to be good humans, like get off the screens, get outside and play. That's why we're bringing the kids together. The kids are going together in Franklin, Tennessee. Bill, my partner, lives in Spring Hill, which is just south of Nashville. He owns a big farm right behind his house. Like the kids will be on his farm with him.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it'll be a really, really phenomenal event. And when I say farm, it's not like You'd have to see this thing, but it's the most incredible thing. He throws big parties there, events there. He's got, a massive farmers market, and so there'll be tactile outside things, and these kids are learning all that, man. They understand the screen time stuff. These kids are in this group and they want to be there in the support system in the group, and they're like with these other kids. And I'll tell you what, there was a call a month and a half ago, because kids have realities we don't have. They're worried about peer pressure, what people think about them, or somebody has shattered their confidence by being a jerk, and they're feeling a kind of way about it. And these kids will bring this up to each other, and then you'll see the other kids like, man, hey, I got, imagine you're a 12-year-old and a 17-year-old kid who's in this group, the coolest thing you've ever seen, and he's like, hey man, hit me up if you need something, I got your back. You're doing everything right. You're fine. And it's not me, the parent, telling them that. It's another kid in a community that he's in, like, supporting each other. So
Huge.
Yeah. Screen time, how to allocate. They've done some time management stuff, which you would kind of expect in this kind of thing. Hey, you guys are going to be on the screens. We get it. You're the digital natives, but you got to limit it. You got to time block. You got to time manage. All those things are being taught.
Yeah, and I'm sure like reading skills as well, like sharing, like talking about books and leveling up in that realm.
Yeah, they're actually reading. They have a book club. You don't have to participate, but many of the kids do. And the best part about the book club, so they're reading. Compound interest was, or the compound effect was one of them. The Go-Giver was one of them. There's a couple others they read, and the authors are coming to talk to the kids.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so cool, man. It's so cool. And these kids, and there's a one of the people on my team, her daughter's in there, and she's a really sharp kid. She wants to write books. So she's getting to talk to authors about writing books and ask questions. Like, that's super powerful for her. Those people are accessible. They're not just the name on the cover.
Right. They're here to like actually walk you through it, like talk about like what they're doing. And I love the walkthroughs that you're going to have with different professions, right? Like I could even see that spiraling into more of like a long journey for those kids, and that almost mentor, right? For them to grow up and then reflect back, or just get mentoring from that person. Like that could be another thing that'll probably pop up with that. But that's really cool, because you never know what you want to be when you grow up, right? Like some people know, but some people have no idea. And so when you know in the beginning, you're like, well, maybe that's not really my field, and try something else. At least you know like what that's going to look like, because TV shows you all this other stuff. It isn't what it is.
No, man, no.
Yeah. Well, this is cool, Adam. I'm really glad you brought this up and we talked about it. And again, for everybody that's got kids that they're really passionate about their kids learning and really getting out there and just learning the different stuff, not going through the same school process. This is going to be a really cool workshop that Adam's going to be at the Teen Wealth Workshop in June 19th, 20th. Check that out. You got the link on the bottom. And Adam, that's going to be really cool for people to see. So
yeah, it's super affordable too, Al. This is not like you join this for $50,000. It's like $197 for the parent and the kid to come, and that just pays for the cost, because the kids are the mission.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I hope people can check that out. And Adam, this has been really cool to hear what you're going through on the real estate side, what you're talking about on the community side with the kids, big stuff going on. Towards the end of my show, I do these questions called signature questions, and we didn't get to go through this. So this is going to be off the cuff for you.
Let's go.
Let's go. When it comes to hiring for your companies, what do you look for in new hires?
Oh man, that's a great question. We're pretty systematic in hiring. So first off, we use a thing called culture index. Some people may have said predictive index, similar type thing. They take a personality profile test. It could be DISC too, because we want to make sure we're hiring the right personality first for the right position. I need a sales personality for a sales position. Otherwise, I'll burn that person out. Then we're looking at, programmatically, we're looking at resumes, or you jump from job to job, the whole kind of standard thing there. And then we're going through multiple interviews where we're assessing somebody's ability to communicate, their ability to be a team player, align with our core values, and we're going to do multiple interviews. And here's one thing, and I've done a lot of hires and I got a lot wrong, that I will tell you is, when you see red flags, you're probably right. You need to realize that typically an interview is the best version of that person. It is the best you're going to get, right? Nobody's going to an interview with a half-hearted, lackluster. That's the best version. So all those things are important. Trust yourself when you see those or when you identify the red flags. So yeah, we look for a number of things, and we have an extensive process, multiple interview process.
Yeah, you have to look for those red flags immediately and identify that for sure. And I'll say this, like, a lot of I've heard about the predictive index from Melanie Legamaro and family. It was the first time I heard about it, and I haven't even used it yet. But I will tell you, when it comes to hiring on our end, there's always going to be somebody that really knows how to find the right people. And if you don't know how to find the right people, find somebody that can find the right people.
Yeah.
Because there's people that'll know how you work and how the others work and can really put the pieces together. And that's what's been huge in my law firm, is finding the people that can find the people. So loved your advice on this, because that you've had multiple businesses. You've seen what it's like, the title company side, you're seeing it all. It's crazy. Adam, so when it comes to running your businesses, I think it's more important than ever to leverage software or CRMs and implement those into your business to make it very efficient. Which are the top softwares that you implement to keep your business running?
Gosh, that's such a good question. Well, I'll tell you what, this is probably not talked about, but the Google Suite. Who doesn't have the Google Suite? Who has a business, right? Like, that thing is multiple between, obviously, effective email. Everybody has a Gmail these days. Sheets and docs and slides and the ability to chat and the ability to do Google Meet. So frankly, that's probably the glue that's holding most businesses together. But in real estate, as and the investment side and our CRM, like, we use InvestorFuse 3.0. Shout out to Carlos. We've been with them literally since their inception. And, the best software is the software you will commit to using consistently and maxing out. Jumping from software to software is a massive mistake, and solving software problems with new software is also a massive mistake. In title, we use Qualia, man. Qualia is like the creme de la creme, in my opinion, in title.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people in title that talk about that. Seems to be the thing that works. And like you're saying, people like Carlos out there with InvestorFuse and using those CRMs are huge for people. And once you find one that really clicks, like you said, keep going at it, because that's the thing that's going to keep it going for you. Master it, fine tune it.
Master it. That is the key. Don't change until you've truly, if you've mastered it and you go, this thing isn't working, then change softwares. But man, master it first. That is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, so I got to ask, I know you're still in the military for now, but I got to ask this question. What is next for Adam Whitney?
Well, after 20 years in the service, I'm really excited to be focused on my businesses. So I'm full focus on Blackjack and Titan Title and 7-figure flipping. That is my world. And now that I have more time on my hands, I'm really excited to see what I'm capable of.
It's going to be really cool to watch this. I hope you blow it up. You keep it growing, keep the real estate side growing, and you keep the teen wealth group growing, because that's going to be a huge part of your journey as you come out of the military and go full time. It's going to be really cool to watch what you do, man. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I do.
Yeah, I love it, Adam. I'm so glad we got to connected, family, and it's always great talking to you. I'm always learning from what you're doing, because you guys are doing things at really high levels. I love hearing about it. Adam, as I do at the end of my show, I do a segment called Final Words, Final Thoughts. Anything that you really want to leave the audience with at home that can really make a lasting impact to them in their lives, in their businesses, you name it. So as I do, Final words, final thoughts, Adam Whitney.
Yeah, I think, like be consistent and commit to the things you say you're going to do. Right. I think that's embedded in us in the military. But if you're on a journey, like that's your journey, but commit to it. Don't be half in, half out when it gets hard. There's nothing you're going to do as an entrepreneur that's easy. None of these people that you see are successful that I often see behind the scenes. A lot of times it's all hard, man. Commit to it and execute.
Commit and execute. Perfect. That is what it's about, right? Like if you're going to do it, you got to execute on it. And I'm a big fan of the execution part. Adam, love it right there. Great advice. Great episode. Love hearing what's going on. Love hearing what's happening in the community with the kids. Keep it going, brother. Really appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you again for your service. And thank you again for coming on the show, taking time to do this episode with me, man. Can't wait to catch up again soon when I see you either at family, another event, something random happens. Can't wait, brother. It'll be a blast.
Yes, sir, man. Blessed to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I'll catch up with you soon. I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
All right, man. Be good. All right, everybody. You heard it from the man himself, Adam Whitney. This guy is doing things at a really high level, and him and Bill Allen have been crushing it with 7-figure flipping, and what they're doing with the kids is so inspirational. You can learn so much from people like Adam Whitney and what he's doing in the community. Check him out. Check him out on Facebook. You got the links right there, and you got the link right there for the Teen Wealth Workshop, June 19th through 20th. Check that out. And again, another one in the books on Wednesday night. And it's crazy. I mean, we're almost in June, and we're rolling. And just to give everybody a note, next Wednesday we're off, so there's no show next Wednesday, and then we are back on June 5th, and then the summer series begins. The summer series. A lot of people are going to be excited about this, because we're going to show you the in-person podcast that we're going to be having, and it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you want to find out more of the Al Nicoletti Show and a lot of the content that's out there, scan that QR code right there at the bottom of the screen. And thank you all for joining, by the way, too. You know, I saw the interactions. Teresa, of course. Teresa was on. Dan McDuffie, my guy Dan. Appreciate you, man. No Celtics tonight. So you got the Al Nicoletti Show to watch with Adam. I love it right there. And he said, Titan title. Thank you for your service. Cheers. Love it. Great discussion. Thanks, all in. You got it, man. And look at that. Dom's watching. What's up, Dom? I see you out there, man. So people are watching. People are on. Keep interacting. That's what it's all about on the show. And we will see you in a couple weeks. Stay tuned for that. See you all. I can't even talk at the end of the show now. See you all soon. I can't wait to see you then. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.